have the privilege of inviting Inspector Stefan SAGAR to chat with me. So welcome, Inspector SAGAR.
Thank you, Jessica. I really appreciate the time to sit down and have a chat.
Yeah, Inspector, you are the Waitemata District West Area Commander. Can you share with us where does those areas cover?
Sure. So it can be a little bit confusing. We are the old term was the Waitakere area. So basically from Hobsonville, Whenuapai down to New Lynn, and then all of the west coast beaches. So it's quite a big area. A lot of rural.
All right, even up to Hobsonville.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, Hobsonville is a new district. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is a lovely.
So do you go there often, or do you live there?
No, I don't live there, but I'd like to. It's a lovely part of the country.
All right. Okay. So today, I think I like to know what are some of the main crime types that you see a lot or more than others in your area?
Yeah, sure. So we have a target in the police to reduce our serious crime victimisations, and so what serious crime is made up of is all the things that we should be focusing on. So from all the really high-end serious stuff right down to cars being stolen, and in there is a big chunk of our work is around burglaries. So burglaries from homes and from people's work. So it's a real focus for us is to try and decrease burglaries. Yeah.
That's really good, because today actually I would like to chat with you about home safety.
Brilliant.
Right. Okay. So and also let's talk a little bit about how we can prevent burglary at our homes.
Great idea.
So in your area, what are some of the habits do you think people do that have attracted burglars to target their homes?
Right. So it not necessarily would be habits just for the Waitakere area. It's probably something we see right across the country. It's natural stuff. So people leaving houses unattended or potentially going away on a trip overseas and not telling someone. It's really important that you have neighbours or friends come and clear your letterbox, and if you can, leave lights on. You really want to leave your home looking like it's been lived in, so people don't come around and start to look for opportunities to victimise.
Okay, but the fact is, we ethnic, a lot of us are immigrants, and sometimes it is not surprising that there are only husband, wife, and maybe 2 children in the family. And many a times when we go for holiday, everyone goes for holiday. So you just mentioned about talking to neighbors.
Yes.
I know that some of our ethnic communities may not be quite courageous to engage with neighbors. So if we know the neighbors, what are some of the things we need to inform our neighbors? Because there's a level of trust there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess it works both ways, Jessica. For me, it's really important that you're building a network of capable guardians around wherever you live. So if you can get your neighbours to understand who you are and socially get on to the point that you can go to them and say, look, I'm going to be overseas for the next few weeks, can you keep an eye on the house? And then do that for them. That's really important. Then you'll have some comfort that at least someone's looking after your property, your hard-earned property, while you're away. So I would encourage anyone to really be courageous and go out and meet your neighbours if you can.
So, say for example, my neighbours are going away and they told me, and I want to be that good friend of theirs, a good neighbour of theirs. What are some of the advice you would give me to look out for? Because every day, we go home, we drive a car, we drive into the driveway, and we normally it has become a norm.
Yeah.
So if my neighbor said they're going away, what are some of the things you would advise me to be specifically looking out for?
Yeah. So I'd be asking my neighbours if they were going away, are you expecting anyone to come over while you're not here?
Okay.
So then I know that if there's a car in the driveway, that's probably a bit suspicious. So the key to that, of course, is if you see something suspicious, you need to report to us straight away. Don't leave it. I know a lot of people will hold back and think, the police are too busy, but we take these things seriously, and if you see someone or a car or something that doesn't feel right, you just need to let us know. We can come and check it out, and if it's nothing to worry about, then that's good. and if it's something to worry about, then we can sort that out as well. So that would be my advice.
So you just brought up something about suspicious. You used the word, and often we ethnic people, communities, when we see someone that we don't know standing in front of my area, firstly, I may not know whether this person, how do I think this person is suspicious if the person is just standing there, but it's somebody that I don't see often in our street. That's one. And you are right, we often think that police are too busy.
Yes.
So are police really serious about burglary? Because again, this could be a perception of us, and I don't think it's just ethnic people, but police are too busy and burglaries is always at the back of their files rather than in front. I'd like you to share and clarify this, please.
Yep, sure. So there's a bit to unpack there, I think, Jessica.
Yeah.
So burglaries are really important for us. So we focus on those serious crime victimisations, like I mentioned before, and burglary is a big part of that, because we want New Zealand to be the safest country. So that's what we're striving for. And we want people to be safe, obviously, but we want people to live in their homes and feel safe as well. So that's the other side of that, which is really important. So if I can just talk about West Auckland, over the last 12 months, we've really been focusing very heavily around those targets. And we've reduced serious crime victimisation just in this area by 13%.
For burglary?
For right across serious crime.
Oh, right.
Over the last year. So that equates to 790 less victims over the year. So that's really significant number of people who weren't victimised. So that excites us as a team, and that's what we come to work and do every day.
That's for your area?
That's just for the area.
Wow, that's just for the area. 790 lesser victims.
Yep, that's right.
Wow, over the last 12 months.
Yeah, the last financial year. So
wow, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Really
really exciting stuff for us. But we're into a new year, and we just keep striving to do even better. So to answer your question, yep, absolutely, burglaries are a big part of what we do, and there's lots of other work that the police do, but that's part of it, for sure.
So if I see someone that's quite suspicious in front of my house, being stranger, not in that area, doesn't live in that area, but standing around or just standing there looking around, or just standing there, who do I call? Do I call 111 or do I call 105?
So depending what they're doing, I guess, I'd be suggesting that maybe you just watch for a while, and if they're just someone walking down the street, then everyone has the right to walk along the street. But if they're actually looking into properties, maybe looking into letterboxes, that's quite common as well, then I'd be calling 111.
111?
Yep,
okay.
And reporting that through, and we will make the decision about what we do with that information from there.
Okay. So what sort of target does a burglar, how do they pick houses or to go into? Yeah,
so really good question. I guess different offenders have different things they're looking for. So it's hard to say that one particular property is more attractive than others. But there are some things you can do to make your target harden your house. So things like security cameras, if you can afford those things. Dogs, obviously a big deterrent. Fences, things like that, sort of basic security for your home have always worked, and they continue to do so. But having people around is probably your best asset, so that's that neighbourhood support. And I'd encourage anyone who has the ability to join a neighbourhood support network to do that as well.
So going back to what you just said in the beginning, by leaving lots of letters in letterboxes could be one of the attractions that they think that there's nobody there. And also, you said keep the lights on. Yeah, and what about, sometimes the weather is quite muggy. We leave the windows open while we are still in the house, but we could be upstairs, but downstairs we leave all the windows open. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's a difficult one, of course, because when it is hot, you want the windows open. So it's just being mindful, I think. So you can get the window stays, of course, so the window's only open so far, but sometimes you want to have the door open. So my advice to that is really just be mindful that people do walk into people's houses and take things even when people are home. So just be aware that that can happen. And again, anything that doesn't seem right, give us a call.
You just touched on another thing. So say for example, I'm in the house and a burglar just walked in. What is the best advice you would give me?
Yeah.
Because I'll be so scared,
Yep.
you know. And what should I do?
Yeah. So I guess the good part of that is that burglars don't want to get caught, so they are likely to run away as quick as they can.
Yeah.
But the absolute advice is just do not engage with that person. Don't put yourself in a position where you might get hurt or.
But what can I do?
So I would be getting out of the house myself and trying to call for help. Call out to your neighbours.
So if there's a back door, run
to the back door.
to the back door,
Yep.
run away,
Run
go to
away.
the neighbours,
Yep.
call 111.
Absolutely, call 111. There's no property that's worth putting yourself at risk. So,
Yeah. And I think this is another culture of us. When someone comes into the house, we tend to feel that, how dare you come into our house, and I want to chase you out, or I'm going to get you so that police will lock you up,
Yeah.
you know. And sometimes we want to play the hero.
Yes.
And I suppose our life is more important
Yep.
than being that hero.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you talk about some guidelines on crime prevention, equipments or
Yep.
installations?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't mention it before, but burglar alarms are a massive one. If you can have a burglar alarm, some of them are monitored so that some of they'll send a guard.
But some of them they just have the burglar alarms but not on.
Yeah. So if you have one, turn it on. It's a
Yes.
top tip for sure. And then more and more nowadays we're seeing homes with CCTV cameras, so cameras on the outside. And the costs of those are coming down all the time. So they are a fantastic deterrent, but also a really good investigative tool for us. So sadly, if someone is victimised and burgled, then we'll make contact and say, hey, by any chance, do you or your neighbours have CCTV? And then that often leads us to some great apprehensions of these offenders, because the quality of the cameras, certainly since, or in recent times, has got better and better. And often we'll get a photograph, and as cops we're like, we know who that is. So we're able to nab them, which is fantastic.
Where do we get this kind of cameras?
Yeah, so they're almost everywhere, I think. So any electronic store, and if you search on the internet,
So we just type in burglar CCTV for
home systems. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now sometimes when we see the footage of burglars, their faces are covered with hoodie or a hat, or what angle should people put CCTV?
Yeah. So I think there's quite a bit of advice online around how to install
Yes.
CCTV and where to put it. Some of the great successes we've seen has been the doorbell CCTV, whether you've seen that before.
Yeah.
But that activates and actually alerts to people's phones, the homeowners' phones.
Yes.
Fantastic.
My
tool.
friends all have their phones connected to their home security.
Yeah.
So even the parents came back, they could say, Mom, Dad, you shouldn't put the vacuum cleaner there. So it's actually quite good,
Yeah.
not only just to deter burglars, but you could watch your parents, your children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
And very cheap nowadays, so it's great.
I'm actually quite impressed when you said there are 790 lesser victims, and we're still talking about burglary. What have the police done so far to reduce that, with that success?
Yeah. So lots of stuff, lots of hard work. So we've sort of really focused on the way we deploy and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So that's taken a lot of work around analysing crime trends and making sure that our people are available to get in and prevent the crime, rather than, so sort of a change in mindset. We don't want to just catch offenders. It's sort of a way of thinking about it. But if you can get ahead of that and prevent it from happening, then that's even better. So that's sort of our model for the police in general, but certainly for us in West Auckland. Yeah.
And of course, the police is into prevention first. So
That's right.
we are looking into how to prevent crime rather than just being reactive to crime.
That's right.
Yeah. And in your years of being an inspector, have you got any good stories that you could think of in terms of apprehending these burglars?
Yeah. So look, we've got.
I'm sure you have plenty, but maybe share one with our communities.
Look, I think we've had some really good arrests over that period of time. We've got those good results. and
People writing down or
yeah, so
write to you?
we had some good feedback, but the most pleasing times are when we actually get property back to people.
Right, okay.
And so we've had them in recent times where we've actually rung the victims and said, hey, we've recovered your property before they'd even gone home and realised they'd been burgled. So,
wow,
so
really?
that's real success.
Now that's impressive.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and we've done that a few times.
A few times
Wow. That I've been involved in that kind of investigation. But like I say before, the goal is to get ahead of that and stop that crime from happening in the first place. And we really need the help from the community. So that's back to that prevention advice, and just think about looking after your property if you're going away, if you're at work.
Okay, so how, for the things, the stolen goods that you have recovered, how do you know which one belongs to who?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a really good point. So what I would encourage everybody to do is when you buy a new TV say,
Yeah.
or any device, is to note the serial number down somewhere, have a master list of it. So when you then, if you're unfortunate enough to be victimised, then you can give that serial number to police. Otherwise, when we recover all the stolen property, we can't actually get it back to you. And then in terms of tools, because tradesmen's tools are a really hot commodity, unfortunately, taken in burglaries, but taken from cars as well. And so with that, we encourage you to engrave your driver's license on the tool, because in that way, all we need to do is search your driver's license and get it back to you.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, because we're coming across stolen tools quite a bit in different search warrants or arrests. But they're so generic, it's almost impossible to get them back to the owner. And the impact of someone losing their tools, you can imagine, it's really significant on their work and their livelihood. So that's a real success as well when we get those back to people.
So, and I know that there is a website that is www.snap.org.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you could actually register all the serial numbers of your home devices, appliances, whatever, and describe what they are. And if the things are stolen, all you need to is go back to that, because you will have your own username, your own password. Then you print it out, take it to the police station and say, these are the items that were lost. And that's where the police can match with when they recovered the items, and they can ring you and get you to come and recover them. So that is a homework for everyone, that you should start recording all your serial numbers. And I know that some of the people would like to keep jewelry and cash at home. When you solve those cases, people report it, do your staff find a lot of these?
Yeah, so cash and jewellery, for a number of reasons, obviously becomes quite a sought-after commodity for thieves. Obviously, cash is very liquid.
Hang on. No, I think we are going to, if we do this, we are promoting that ethnic people keep a lot of cash. I'll ask it in a different way. That's wrong. Sorry. So, Inspector, what's your advice of people keeping jewelry and cash at home? Because sometimes it could be that it's more convenient for us.
Yes. Look, so cash and jewellery is well sought after, unfortunately, for offenders for a number of reasons. But obviously, you can spend the cash straight away, but you can turn jewellery into cash fairly quickly, and then you can have it on your body without having to lug a TV out into a car. So you can imagine it's a whole lot easier. So, I mean, our advice is if you have cash, then you probably need to have it in the bank or at least in a safe in your house if you can. And probably the same with jewellery, really.
Yep.
Like, we expect people to have jewellery in the house, but just be aware that you want to try and prevent that from being taken if at all possible.
Yeah, and also with the jewellery, you could actually take photographs and register it in that SNAP, SNAP, that SNAP website, so that if things got lost, at least you've got photographs to verify that those are your jewelry. And I suppose a lot of us may think that I need to change my jewelry, or I need to wear different ones, but I strongly recommend that they put it in the vault. There's some vaults in town. It's a safety box, and you pay like $100 over for a year, I think. And so it's really worthwhile, rather than have your valuables being stolen, because some of them could be very sentimental.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And cash is something that we've been telling people not to keep. But I'm actually quite happy. A lot of ethnic people are having that habits of not keeping cash at home now. So I'm very impressed with that. Yeah. So with, let's talk a little bit about cars being broken into. Why do people break into cars?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I guess one thing to understand in terms of what is a burglary is if someone comes onto your property and they break into your car in the driveway, then we say that's a burglary.
Okay.
So they don't have to necessarily break into your house. It could be your back shed or your open garage, and that's still, in terms of our thinking, that's a burglary, because they've come onto your property with an intent to do a crime. So cars often have a lot of valuable items in them. So we really encourage people not to leave things in their cars. To first of all lock it and use an alarm, but just not to leave things in their cars, whether that be in the driveway or whether they're out at the local mall, because people can see in. Laptops, cell phones, sunglasses, all those things are really. And it only takes a very small smash on a window and you're in and taking it. So.
True,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just a bag, and you
That's
think
right.
it's a bag, but the burglary doesn't think
It
it's
is.
just a bag,
Yeah.
so they will break into. So
That's right.
make sure you hide everything. But I think the best practice for me, which I do all the time, is I would lock the car, but before I leave and go away from the car, I always look inside to make sure that I didn't leave anything by mistake that is visible. So
Yeah.
I think that's one good practice that we could share.
Yeah, and I've even heard of people leaving their glove boxes open just to show that there's literally nothing.
Oh,
in the car.
really?
Yeah, so it's a new one as
And
well.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen people pull out that coin box.
Yep, leave it
and
open.
and tell people there's nothing in there.
That's
I thought, okay, that's a good idea
Yeah.
too.
I think it works.
Yes. So, what do you think communities can do to work with the police to reduce burglary?
Yeah. So the big one really is reporting anything that you think is suspicious. We really encourage that. And then work with your own close network of neighbours, again, is important. Link in with the Neighbourhood Support Network.
Okay.
And then if you really want to get out there, you could look up CPNZ, so that's the Community Patrol. They're a fantastic resource, and they get out and do a lot of high visibility for patrols for us. And so all that other stuff around your own prevention that you can put in place, and recording those serial numbers.
Right.
So there's lots to do. But we live in a fantastic country, and we're very lucky, and I think the police are really striving towards solving burglary where we can.
I'm positive that our communities are so happy to hear that the police is very serious about
Absolutely.
burglary. So the police not being serious is actually a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not true. In fact, very serious. So I think that's very good for them to know. By the way, how long have you been working in the police?
Since 2000 I joined the police. Yeah.
2000. Wow, that's quite a long time.
It is.
I've just known you like 8 months.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I've just joined the police recently. I mean, joined the Tamaki Makoro.
Joined the team.
Okay. Where was I? I was saying I want to continue from there. I've got something to ask you.
Okay. Go on.
God. Yeah. So from 2000, that's quite a long time. Yes, and obviously I've just come to know you since I took over this role as the Ethnic Responsiveness Manager for Tamaki Makoro. And I have to say, you are so helpful all the time.
Oh, thank you.
So helpful. And you've given me that support that you always ask and try to help. And I'm coming to think, why are you so upbeat all the time?
Do you know, the honest answer to that, Jessica, is I just love the job I do.
Yes.
You really have purpose, and we make an impact. I'm not necessarily out on the street doing the work that I was a number of years ago, but I get to work with some fantastic people that get out and do that stuff. So
you're very compassionate to your colleagues.
Yeah. Oh, I just love my job. I'm very lucky.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think I'm very lucky to have you as my colleague.
You're kind.
Yes. So Have you got anything else you would like to share with the communities?
Yeah, just that I think that Waitakere, West Auckland, is a fantastic place, and like I say, the country wouldn't want to live anywhere else, and we're very lucky in that regard.
Do you live there?
Yeah, so I live across on the North Shore.
All right. Okay.
But you know, this is the place to work for me. I love it.
Yes.
And I love the community. Yeah.
So at work you're Westie?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Through and through.
And at home you're still in the Waitemata
That's
district.
right. Yeah, it's not too far away.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. So I'm sure we have all learned a lot from Inspector STEFAN SAGAR, the area commander for Waitemata District West. And that's all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching Cop Chat. Tune in the next time, and I will see you again.